Hi, I'm Tom Hoskins for Mining Journal, and I'm here with Mike Fraser, who's the CEO of Chaarat Gold, which is an AIM-listed gold producer with a producing mine in Armenia and two projects in Kyrgyzstan. Hi, Mike. How's it going?
Good, thanks, Tom, and good to be talking to you today.
We're going to start with Kyrgyzstan, where things have been on pause a little bit for you guys, really since the Centerra dispute with the government. But that was resolved earlier this month, which presumably was good news for you guys. Tell me about where you go from here.
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right. We were waiting quite anxiously for the resolution and the public announcement of the resolution of that Kumtor dispute between the Kyrgyz Republic and Centerra. That was announced on the 4th of April. And that was quite meaningful for us because it allows us now to re-engage with our financing partners to secure financing for our two projects, development projects in Kyrgyzstan. We have the Tulkabash project, which is ready to go, and that's quite an exciting oxide leach project that will be developed in Kyrgyzstan. And underneath that, we actually have another long life resource, which is the Kiziltash deposit, which we will now study further as well. So first one off the ranks is Tulkabash. That's certainly the one that we're ready to go. And it's now subject to finalizing financial closure. Last year, we were quite active in engaging with financing partners, but obviously with the uncertainty around that dispute on Kumtor, a lot of people were quite nervous about it. But we certainly believe now it opens the door, and we believe we'll be in a position to complete financing by the end of 2022.
Okay, great. And so when would that put first production for?
So that puts first production scheduled for the second half of 2024. So that's when we would expect first pour of gold from the heap leach project. And I think there's certainly opportunities for us to continue to try and optimize that project, but we believe that this project is in a good place to go right now.
Good stuff. Now, as well as the Centerra resolution, you had your full year results earlier this month as well. Can you pick out a few key observations and themes for us?
Yeah, sure. I think one of the key things for us is that we again had a good production year for Chaarat. Revenue was up 22% in the year, and that was partly due to high commodity prices, but also due to the fact that we increased our third party ore processing at Kapan. At Kapan, we have a mill that's not fully utilized. Obviously, what we try and do is optimize our own production, but when we have spare capacity, we are processing third party ore, and that certainly helped us in the year as well. And so during the year, we had group EBITDA was up 45%. And that also allowed us to improve our cash position at the year end and reduce net debt. So overall, a good financial performance for Chaarat in the prior year.
Okay, good stuff. And I mean, obviously, you're pretty new in the job. You came in January. Be interested to hear if you've made any minor tweaks to the company's strategy, and what might those be?
Firstly, just to put it out there, and I joined Chaarat from a much bigger company. But what I was really attracted to Chaarat was the opportunity and the potential to grow Chaarat into a quality mid-tier mining company. I believe we've got particularly two good projects in Kyrgyzstan, which I'd love to see developed. And I believe if we unlock those projects, we've got the ability to create something more meaningful and use that as a platform to further grow and develop the company. There's certainly a quality team at Chaarat who can definitely do more than we're doing at the moment. From a strategy point of view, it's fairly simple for me. First and foremost, we need to grow and progress our internal growth options in Kyrgyzstan and unlock the value from them. I believe the market is certainly not attributing the full value of those projects in the share price at the moment. Secondly, we've got to continue to run Kapan for value. That's a project that still has quite a significant amount of resource. Partly, we need to convert that into reserve, and then look at how we fill the potential of that operation. Having said that, what I have discussed with the board is that we will consider two small pivots if the opportunity presents itself. Chaarat started life as being an FSU focused consolidator or operator. I do think that we will consider options to pivot geographically if the opportunities present themselves. And secondly, we will also consider looking at other commodities, particularly industrial metals, if that opportunity does present itself. If you look at Kapan today, it's a polymetallic mine, so we produce gold, silver, copper, zinc. There's a very small pivot if we found quality assets, either copper, zinc, nickel even, and we've got the capability to do that. So those are the two minor pivots. And so when we talk about strategy for Chaarat, we'll talk about ourselves as primarily a gold miner and developer of projects, but it won't purely be focused only on the FSU, and it will also be open to other opportunities in other industrial metals.
Interesting. So, I mean, are you thinking any other region in particular, or is it just wherever the best opportunities may lie?
So the way I'd like to talk about it, Tom, is that, I think realistically operating within a time zone of, if you start at our base in the UK and add, 4 to 5 hours on, that would be a sweet spot for us, which gives us a fairly broad opportunity set within that time zone. And I think that would allow us to leverage the capability that we've got and the experience we have in our teams to operate through those jurisdictions. And
okay.
that gives us a pretty big canvas to operate on.
Yeah, understood. I think it would probably be a bit remiss of me not to mention the war in Ukraine at some point. You are FSU focused. Obviously, you're not right on the doorstep, but just wondered if you'd seen any impact on your business.
Yeah, so at this stage, Tom, we haven't seen any direct impact on our operations, particularly at Kapan, and also on our projects and the ability to deliver on those projects. And we certainly aren't seeing any material impact on the remainder of 2022. We are obviously monitoring this very carefully because, as you know, the geopolitics of this war could translate into a number of scenarios. And we'll continue to look at that, and we'll continue to monitor impacts on supply chain costs and commodity prices. The only kind of short-term impact that we are seeing is higher freight rates, particularly into the Black Sea. So our concentrate gets exported out of the port of Poti in Georgia. And certainly we're seeing, particularly as a result of higher insurance costs, a number of shipping companies are being more reluctant to travel into that region. So that's probably the only issue, but we're certainly seeing the sales going through. It's just a little less predictable in terms of shipping at this point in time.
Okay, thanks very much indeed for that, Mike. Well, that is all we have time for today, but I'd just like to finish by thanking you again very much for joining us.
Oh, thank you very much for the time, and great to chat to you.
Good stuff. Okay, that concludes this video for Mining Journal. Goodbye.